Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be a forecast for the collective for March of 2025 or whenever you happen to come across this reading. So as most of you know by now, all of my readings are timeless. So that means you can get something from it no matter what day, year, month, week you come across it, no matter what the date is. Messages can still apply. So that includes even the forecast. So even though this is for March of 2025, if you see it at another year, another month, another time, you could still use this reading. There's a couple ways you could use it if you happen to come across this at another time. You can either just listen to the general reading for the month and then apply it to whatever month you're in. You can listen to the entire thing and apply it to whatever month you're in. You can go down to the timestamps in the description and choose the week you feel drawn to. Treat it like a pick a card and use it that way. Yeah, or like I said, you can listen to the whole thing and just to apply whatever time you're in. So whatever works for you. Another way that you could do it, like let's say you're in week 1 of September, for example, and you want to use this, you can go down to the timestamps and just click on week 1 and apply it to your timeline, even though this is for March of 2025. So let's jump on in. I'm going to start off with the general reading for the month, and then I'll get into each week. Got a sip of my water. Just showing off the other side of my mug. Most of y'all probably seen this by now because I've been using it a lot. My Mean Girls mug. All right. Okay, so for March of 2025, we have the energy of the sun. March is going to feel a lot brighter than February for most people. Now, equally so, there's duality to everything. There's also going to be moments of discomfort because even though the sun is beautiful, it shines, it's warm, and it, brings life to so much, there are times when the sun can be uncomfortable, when it's too bright or too hot, for example. So it may feel like at moments life is putting you in the hot seat, or that something is challenging that you're overcoming. But for the most part, it feels a lot more optimistic than previous. It feels a lot more exciting, a lot more clarity is coming to mind about something. Many of you may be feeling like just an overall sense of things feeling brighter in March or whenever you happen to come across this and compare it to the previous month. Let's see what else is going on. Okay, so we have here the message of not returning. So for some of you, this could be that there is someone in your life who you feel or are beginning to realize they may not be returning, or at least not in the same form that you knew them previously. For some of you, this not returning is you consciously deciding not to return back to something you've already told yourself you're not going to do, like a bad habit or a mindset or a cycle of some kind, things of that nature. Some of you, there's like an environment you just don't want to go back to or need to take space from during this time. And that's because you have more clarity now. That's because you also are in a different vibration than before, because you're in this higher or happier or just feeling more, like hopeful and optimistic vibration. You just don't want to return to an old way of feeling or an old way of doing or an old way of seeing as well. Let's see what else. Okay. Yes, we have here the message of paradise. So I do feel like it's more about learning to enjoy the little things, finding joy in the little moments of life. Maybe some of you are also enjoying each other's company. Just an overall sense of playfulness and expansion and happiness and joy starting to come back. For some people, you may not feel like it's that way all the time, but you're definitely having more moments of it than before, which I think is great. Let's see what else. Last message for the general energy of the month. Okay. On social media or an app is the message here. So some of you, I mean, this could be many different things for different people, but some of you may actually be finding some sort of inspiration or an answer to something through something interacting online. And some of you are also using it as sort of an escape of some kind, but that's the vibe I'm getting from it. And I'm also feeling like there's also a need to think outside of the box, outside of what other people are doing on social media, because there's a lot of group think energy happening, and sometimes that can feel a bit draining as well. So some of you may need to take some space from online and things of that nature. Again, general reading, take what resonates, release what doesn't. Take what applies to you, release what doesn't. This is a reading for a lot of different people, so it's not going to be the same thing for everybody. So now let's get into each week. Week 1 of March, or whenever you see this. So it's feeling like there's an energy of a no, or a no, not yet, or even no, don't even go down that road again, or right now. A lot of it feels tied to feeling stuck, but some of it is just where your mindset is during this time. Like, even if you look at this image, looking at it intuitively, like there's an opening here on the back side of this. So this creature, I don't know exactly what this creature is off the top of my head. They could easily walk right out through that side, but they're, because of where their mentality is, they don't believe it or don't see that opening at this time. So apply that symbolically to whatever area of life you feel that you may be experiencing something similar. It's kind of like, you ever seen how an animal that grew up in the zoo, when they do get released, if they do get released, they sort of remain in this invisible cage, like they don't realize they're free. So I think what Spirit is saying is there's a need to see how you're trapping yourselves, or to see how you're not even realizing you're free to choose a whole different path altogether, to make a change, or to do something different, either for yourself in your own personal life, in your own personal ways, or even for just like a community or whatever it might be, or on a grander scale. But basically, week 1, you may be feeling stuck, but it's more of a mental thing. It's more of a mentality thing. It's not a real reality, or rather it's only reality because you believe it is. Does that make sense? So there's a need to break out of that. Easier said than done. I didn't even realize that. I thought I had pulled 1 card, but I just realized I pulled 2 here. So okay. So also for week 1, again, this is going to be different things for different people. Many of you may be still feeling a little bit lost. Some of you may be grieving still, whether it's a person, whether it's an old life, whether it's just change you're dealing with that causes you to feel a sense of grief because you're in an unfamiliar territory. So some of you are still, a bit heartbroken in some way, some form, feeling sad or feeling some sort of separation or loss. But I do also see, I think what Spirit is trying to say is that even though sometimes difficulties happen in life, further off in time, because I do see that message here, further off in time, I feel like there's going to be a new level you reach that feels more secure, that feels more, not, there may still be moments where grief may still hit with whatever loss it is you've been feeling, and life is gonna life can life on anybody. Nobody is safe from the things that can sometimes happen unexpectedly. But I think what Spirit is saying is that further off in time, there is joy again, there is that next level again. So for some of you, if it was a breakup, for example, further off in time, there is someone that can come into the picture that can give you that commitment, that engagement that you've been wanting. For some of you, if you feel like you're in grief or having a feeling of loss, what Spirit is saying is that there's an energy of you being loved, what's the word, like infinitely. Like, even though someone may be gone, especially if this is, for example, somebody who's transitioned over, they are loving you for all eternity or infinitely. So further off in time, you may begin to see that or feel that. So this is what I mean. There's an energy of completion, but it leads to deeper levels of love and commitment and partnership. Some of you are being drawn together, getting closer with people in your life because of a tough time you have previously went through. And now you're growing, you're evolving, it's bonded you. And it does eventually lead towards a next level of some form of commitment or change or growth or union further off in time. And again, there's many ways that this can apply to different people in your own life. Use your discernment. Maybe it's romance, maybe it's family, maybe it's healing, maybe it's a business partnership, maybe it's a commitment to self, whatever it is for you. And also, I see here the message of you can trust them. So if you've been wondering if you can trust a particular person or a group of people, for some of you, Spirit is saying yes. If you're wondering if you can trust the signs, symbols, or synchronicities you've been picking up on in regards to, Spirit is saying yes. If you wondering if you can trust your own intuition or your own like downloads or thoughts that are coming in regards to something, Spirit is saying yes, you can trust them. And I'm seeing the number 5, and I feel like maybe anywhere between now and the next 5 weeks or so, could be as soon as now or as far out as 5 weeks, within that time frame. It feels like it's gonna, that intuition or whatever it might be, is gonna get even stronger, or just more in terms of if you are wanting to see if somebody's changing or evolving, and they've already been working towards regaining your trust, and within that timeline you may see more of that energy of being able to trust them. Again, different things for different people. Going into week 2. Ooh. Okay. All right, we have here the 5 of Cups. So Spirit is saying it could be weeks. And again, there's another 5. It could be weeks before you feel full recovery, but you are in process to that. It also feels like you're able to begin to speak up more, speak your mind more, when previously you may have just been more quiet about certain things. Some of you are learning to ask for help if you need it, or just speaking your mind in general, especially when you're feeling turned off or drained by something. Like, you're not as afraid to just be like, hey, that bothered me, or hey, I'm not in the mood, or hey, I just can't do it right now, that kind of a thing for week 2. Also, week 2, Spirit is saying that it's time to take a calculated chance or calculated risk on something. Anything in life is going to have some level of risk to it. And with that being said, there's a need to be strategic. There's a need to look into the options. Some of you may also be using cards to help you make decisions, whether that's tarot cards, oracle cards, or whatever it might be for some of you. Again, general reading. So week 2 is about strategy, and especially strategy in terms of getting out of whatever fog you have been in. And an answer to something that you've been wondering about in the back of your mind right now is not very likely. Let me see if I can get some more clarity on that. So I'm taking this as some of the fears you've been having is not very likely, and Spirit is encouraging you to, yes, continue to make magic. So basically, like, don't give up and don't go backwards. Again, not returning is here again on the bottom of the deck. Don't go back to the old ways or the old cycles that had you feeling stuck, but to keep moving forward, keep that progression going, because yes, you can make magic, you can make change. And for some of you, it's like the only way to really know or to break the illusion of something you've been creating in your mind is to actually speak up or to ask the questions to get the answers, even if it's like not what you thought it was going to be, because knowing the truth may be needed now versus the fantasy or the illusion of something. Going into week 3, taking it day by day, a step at a time. You're on the road to recovery though. You're on the way up. I do feel like there's going to be moments of joy or even silliness coming back. Like if you're a person who's like similar to me, where you are just a naturally silly person sometimes, that's just a part of your personality because you're happy and you've noticed that you've lost a little bit of that. Like I feel like your humor, that energy of sense of humor is coming back for some of you, or the enjoyment of the little things in life. You are on the process of healing. Some of you may also be helping others to help them with their healing process as well. A lot of you are beginning to feel free from toxic relationships, environments, or addictions you have had before. Like you're consciously choosing to break cycles, because toxicity is not romantic, okay? Like there's nothing romantic about someone that's unavailable. There's nothing romantic about an environment that, you know, drains all of your energy. There's nothing romantic about you continuing to hurt your own self with bad habits or toxic ways of thinking. You know what I mean? So, and when I say romantic, I mean like not always particularly with like a romantic relationship, just in terms of like it's nothing really beautiful or like ideal about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, so you're beginning to break those cycles. And also some of you are also beginning to realize that there's a difference between romance and like someone who's just creating the illusion of romance in order to seduce, to get something from you, whether that's, you know, of a physical nature or whether that's for you to do something for them. Like for example, in a work environment, like seducing your mind, you know, to get you to do work for them, you know what I mean? That kind of a thing. A romance energy, in my opinion, is there's an intent behind it to build something more, to court, to really invest emotionally, mentally, and in all the ways. Whereas someone can create the illusion of romance where it looks like romance, like little moments of it look like romance, but their behavior and their actions have not matched up consistently, and it's more so just to seduce you to get something they want or out of the situation, or just to create an escape for the moment. Like, you know, it is sort of a form of manipulation. So use your discernment with that. And some of you are beginning to realize that. But again, different things for different people. Going into week 4, we have the 3 of Cups. So I feel like an answer to something you've been wondering in the back of your mind is headed towards a yes. Maybe not a full-on yes, but it's headed towards a yes. I don't know why, but it kind of just feels like someone who's beginning to move through the motions of life, but there's still a little bit of heaviness to them. But at the same time, they're beginning to see there's a lot still worth celebrating. There's a lot, and rejoining like the outside world or a sense of community. Like if you've been in a sort of a negative headspace or just feeling down and you've been in the house a lot, I feel like around this time, maybe you're beginning to like, okay, I want to go outside and do something, or I'm ready to go visit with friends or family or people or things like that starting to set in. I see the message of still upset, which kind of goes along with what I was just saying. So this could be you, or this could be someone else that may still be a little bit upset, but there is some movement happening out of, you know, that difficult space. This one is reversed. It's the only one. It says not your time, but it was reversed. And so because it's reversed, I'm seeing this more as Spirit is saying like, it wasn't your time before with something because of where your mindset was or because you were recovering with something, but you're now breaking out of all of that. So it could be your time if you start taking the steps and actions to make something happen, or to create change, or to even feel better, because there are times where people can sometimes hold their own selves back from beginning to heal. But I feel like it's breaking away from all of that now. And we also have, the message here of the axe, which is symbolic for a few things. Some of you are stopping a pattern, you're cutting out the BS. Some of you are breaking illusion or delusion with something and seeing truth. Some of you are experiencing a separation from something or someone. And some of you are also healing some feelings of abandonment or abandonment issues or loneliness. But like I said, the good news is I do feel like there is progress. And I don't know if you can see it from the camera, but like this direction is like the past and things being left behind. But you see this, I think it's an anteater, but it's like walking towards the future. And keeping going is energy. Like there is progress. Like I said, things are feeling lighter than before. And let me think of like the symbolism of what I can feel from like an anteater. So ants can mean many different things symbolically. One of them is war. Again, duality. There's good signs to everything and negative signs to everything. But if I'm looking at this in terms of the feeling coming through, and this being an anteater, it feels like overcoming some sort of like an either internal or emotional war, or even war with someone else or other people. It feels like overcoming symbolic war of some kind, or disagreement or conflict within self, or conflict with someone else or a group of people. You know what I mean? So it feels like overcoming that, because the anteaters are eating the ants up. So hopefully this was helpful. And there may still be some moments where you feel like you're clumsy or stumbling through the process. But the good news is, even if you trip a few times, you are still headed in the direction of where you're trying to go or where you need to be. And I think that's beautiful. So if you guys enjoyed this, hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know. If you made it this far, let's see. Send me I don't know if there is an anteater emoji, but maybe a sun. Let's send me a sun emoji, because we started off with the sun in the beginning of the reading, ended with the sun here too, sun kind of rising up. So send me a sun emoji. And also, if you would like to do all the free things to help support the channel, like the video, comment is even better, share it around, all of that fun stuff. If you want to book a personal reading with me, my website and all that is in the description box, and I'll talk to you guys another time. Bye.